Sunday games, it kicks off with the Houston Texans and the New England Patriots, 3:00 kickoff. This is the one that I'm most excited about, just from a Patriots fan perspective, also from the sense of like this Houston defense we've been talking about is so good. Patriots are laying a field goal at home here. Texans are the underdog, plus 150 on the money line. The total is set at 40.5 right now. Grant, give me your thoughts on this one.
So I think I shared this on the last podcast, but I'm going to say it again in case people weren't around. And if you're not, or if you weren't around, you want to be around, guys, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Also, like the video if you are enjoying the content on the channel here. And why not throw your comments down below as well? Let us know what you think of what we're saying here. But according to True Media Sports, there have been 283 instances in which a quarterback attempted at least 20 passes in a playoff game since 2013. Of those 283, Aaron Rodgers in the wild card against the Texans ranked 283rd in success rate and EPA per dropback. You know, there was an article that Rodgers was sobbing and apologizing to Mike Tomlin because Tomlin said that he was going to step down. And do I think he did that because Rodgers sucked? No, but like that just shows what the Texans defense is capable of doing. And they have very little variation in what they do. Opposing coordinators know what is coming their way. They are playing man coverage. They have two safeties helping over the top. They are rushing 4, and that's it. It's the most simple approach that you will ever see in football, and they are dominating teams just because they are that good. And before we get into anything else, you know, I'll liken this to the national championship game with Indiana and Miami. We talk about the battle at the point of attack and how Miami, even though Miami might not have been as great of a overall holistic team as some of the other teams they ran up against, are they overall better than Ohio State? Maybe not, but they beat them because they dominated the point of attack. They moved the line around. They won that. That's the first thing that happens on any play. The lineman hit the lineman, and Miami consistently won that battle. So when I think about this Houston team, what they can do just rushing 4, and I'll be honest, when I watched the Patriots play the Chargers, one thing that was really concerning is the Chargers were dominating. Their defensive line was wreaking havoc on the Patriots offensive line. Will Campbell had a couple of bad moments. Jared Wilson had a couple of bad moments. And it's okay, like they're rookies making their first start in the playoff. I'm not saying they're bad players, but the holes were there. And Houston creates holes in teams that don't have them. So if you're showing them a hole, they're going to be able to exploit it.
Yeah. So the Texans, and again, I don't have this tweet, but I saw it on Twitter. They have not allowed a positive EPA per drop back since week 2. So Drake Maye is going to have the toughest game of his season. The Patriots offense did not look good against the Chargers last week. And we need to credit the Patriots defense for holding the Chargers to no touchdowns. But how often can you do that? How reliable can that be? Because the Patriots defense is known for giving up touchdowns especially on the first drive of the game. I think you're going to play man coverage against CJ Stroud. You're going to be able to shut him down if you do that. And I do think the Patriots offense over the course of 60 minutes will probably have more success than the Texans offense. But if the Patriots turn the ball over or make like one critical mistake, that may be enough for the Texans to get the job done in this football game, which is crazy to think about. Also, another stat, again, I got to bookmark these, but CJ Stroud has had like 8 in the playoffs already, like 8 defensive touchdowns benefited him. And like, that's like up there with like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and all these crazy, like big time quarterbacks that are retired now. So CJ Stroud gets benefited from defensive touchdowns. Also, too, need to talk about this. The Texans have never won a divisional round game in their team history. They had never won a road playoff game, I believe, last week, and they got that done, right? So just a interesting spot for the Houston Texans here. But that defense is so good, and I think the Patriots, when they do hit the wall, like they're going to hit that game where nothing goes right, and they haven't really hit that one yet. Like you look at their losses, like early on, whatever, against the Steelers, like that was just one where they turned the ball over. The one against the Bills, it was just Josh Allen taking over a game and the offense kind of shutting down in the second half. But they haven't hit a game where it's like nothing is going right on either side. This feels like the game and the matchup where that could be the case.
And in that second Bills loss, I mean, Drake Maye had his worst game of the year, 155 yards, 1 pick, no touchdowns, I believe. But Travion Henderson had like a 70-yard touchdown and a 60-yard touchdown. So that still went right for them, and they scored 31 points. The the stat you shared about the Texans haven't allowed a positive EPA per dropback since week 2. So just so everybody knows, EPA is not, it's not, 0 is not the middle of the league. 0 is not average. Positive, you're above average. Negative, you're below average. It's, you generate more points per play passing the football because you can be more explosive than you can running the football. So the vast majority of quarterbacks, the vast majority of offenses generate positive EPA per pass play, even if they don't have a good passing attack. So I have the numbers pulled up right now just to contextualize this. Again, the Texans have not allowed a positive EPA per dropback since week 2. Here are the bottom 3 quarterbacks who still have a positive EPA per dropback: Jacoby Brissett, Bryce Young, and Tua Tagovailoa. Then where the line crosses and you get to negative EPA per dropback, it goes Spencer Rattler, Russell Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, Justin Fields, and Quinn Ewers. So to put this into perspective, the Texans are holding every team they face since week 2 to a Spencer Rattler, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields level of quarterbacking effectiveness. Just to put into perspective what they're doing.
That's a great, that's some top tier journalism right there on the spot, coming up with that comparison. That really puts it into perspective here for people that aren't familiar with EPA and all that. But yeah, the Texans defense is that good. They're going to rush 4. They're going to have 7 back, and like it's just not going to work out for the offense the majority of the game. I don't see the Patriots scoring 17 points in this game. I really don't. I think this is a game that's probably 14-10. 13-10, 13-7 even. Like also bad weather in New England too. It's supposed to snow a little bit. Supposed to rain on Sunday, wintry mix. That's going to be hard for both offenses to operate, so it only works in favor of the defense. I'd be on the under for sure. I don't see a world where the game gets over, but the biggest thing when we're picking a winner here, Texans are getting a field goal. This is a game that's got like field goal margin written all over it. Maybe worst case 4.5 points. I don't see the Patriots winning by 7 to 10 points here. I just can't see it.
Well, just a simple math lesson. So if you're betting the under, and this is the lowest projected total of the week, it's at 40, was at 41 last time I checked. It's down to 40.5. So The other games, Bills Broncos is 46.5, Niners Seahawks is 44.5, Rams Bears is 48.5. This is 40.5. So if you are betting the under, every point that you get on the spread represents more value. If 40 divided by 3 or 3 divided by 40 represents a larger percentage of the points available than if you're doing 3 divided by 48.5 on one of these other games. So mathematically speaking, underdog spreads should be easier to cover. And granted, the odds makers factor this in when they make these lines, but just mathematically, it should be easier for the underdogs to cover in these low total games, especially if you're betting the under. Because if you're betting the under 40.5, let's just say you think there's going to be like 34 points. Well, now a 3-point spread is basically 1/11th of the total points in the game. And that's a large percentage.
Yeah. So it seems like we're both kind of leaning the same way here for a pick. I don't know about you, but
well, let me defend the Patriots because we've barely talked about them. I mean, we have said all year long, it's coming. The Patriots, it's coming. It's never happened. They have, I mean, Drake Maye did have the letdown after the bye week, and we'll call that a bye week. And that they still scored 31 points against the Bills, the team that's won the division 5-6 years in a row, however many. And they are they're 12-5. No, sorry, I'm looking at the Bills record. The Patriots were 14-3. They have won 13 of their last 14 games. The only loss was 35-31 after a bye week. They come out, they beat the Chargers. And granted, their offense did not look great last week at all. And they still covered the spread by 10 points. They only gave up 3 points. So we're talking about the Texans defense. How about the Patriots defense that just did a great job against the Chargers? And you can talk about, the offensive line for the Chargers and how it made it easy for the Patriots. Well, CJ Stroud might make it easy for the Patriots defense. The man fumbled the football 5 times and threw an interception. So the ball was either in harm's way or given to the opponent 6 times in one game. They should never have won that game. Yet, I mean, they won 30-6, which again just goes to show how good their defense is. So I'm with you. I think this is an under game through and through. The Patriots and the Texans got to have totally different approaches, though. With the Patriots, we need to consistently, if we're running for 3 yards per play, that's totally fine. We're going to go 1st and 10, 2nd and 7, I messed that up somewhere. 1st and 10, 2nd and 7, 3rd and 4, and then 4th and 1, and we convert on 4th down. If that's what it takes, fine. Do not let them have the opportunity to change the game with their defense. And then on the Texans side, it's CJ Stroud. Do not turn the football over. Our defense might score more touchdowns than our offense. That's their game plan.
Yeah, I think the Patriots need to put them away. Like, the Patriots need explosives more so, I would say. Like, if you get up on them to a point where the Texans, like, they're not going to come back just because of the offense. So I think for the Texans, it's keep the game close. For the Patriots, it's you got to put them away early. So whatever success you're having on offense, you really need to magnify it. You need to win in the special teams game, obviously. You need great returns. You need to flip the field, get some turnovers, put your offense in a position to be successful, and maybe go up by 2 scores early. Because I think if the Patriots are able to do that, even if it's 10 points, it's going to be hard for the Texans to climb back into the game.
Do you see similarities between this game and the Texas Tech-Oregon game?
No, not one bit.
No.
Not one bit. Because, like, I look at Texas Tech, the way the game played out, they didn't score, but Texas Tech had one of the best scoring offenses in the country coming into the game. Oregon also was good offensively. They got shut down a little bit. So yeah, not really, no.
Okay, that's fair. I was just wondering. I mean, yeah, the Houston offense is better. Well, no. I guess statistically, the Texas Tech offense is better than the Houston offense, but I do think the Houston offense will be more effective than the Texas Tech offense was.
No, they have to be. I mean, Barry Morton didn't really do anything effective, really.
Check down, yeah.
Besides crying in the post-game press conference. It's the only good thing he did. So, anyways.
So, are you taking the Texans outright, or I mean, we know to be safe, we're taking the +3. That's what you should do. Be safe, take your points. But do you think they're going to win?
I have a feeling they're going to win, but I want the Patriots to win, so it's hard. Like, I'd take +3, and I could see a world where the Patriots win comfortably, and, you know, like, the Texans defense is good, but I look at what the Texans defense did to Josh Allen. This is going to be a difference for Drake Maye, and, like, this is a level up for competition, and, you know, they're only 2-2 against good teams, and it's a really hard game to predict. I would take the +3.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen against the Texans, 24 of 34, 253 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Patrick Mahomes against the Texans defense, probably the worst game of his career. 14 of 33 for $160, 3 interceptions, no touchdowns. There has not been a task that's been too tall for this defense, which is just, it's remarkable the job they have done. Trevor Lawrence, 13 of 23, 158, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They shut down everybody.
We're forgetting the fact, too, that this team has won 10 straight football games. They have won 10 straight games coming into this.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, the Patriots are, you know, one of the hottest teams in the NFL, but there's a lot of teams that are like that. The Texans are the same thing. The Jags were the same way until they lost to the Bills. The Broncos are the same way. Like, there's a lot of teams that have won 9 straight, 10 straight, 13 of the last 14, 12 of the last 13.
But I look at the Patriots with their schedule, and I look at the Texans with what their schedule was. And I just say 10 straight for the Texans is more impressive than what the Patriots have been able to do.
Especially after starting 0-3. We were talking about if D'Amico Ryans was going to be fired or not.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's an interesting game. It's who do you think is going to win?
I think the Texans will win.
I think the Texans will win. Yeah, I think this is because also, too, all these stats and trends about how these teams that get good right away, they struggle. They're going to hit that spot. You know, we saw it for your Commanders last year in the NFC Championship. Like, they didn't look good. You know, you see it with the Patriots, and maybe with the Patriots, who knows? But teams that get good really quickly have a game where they don't get over the hump because it takes time to learn the playoffs. And I feel like this is the game. If they Patriots get through this one, I could see them winning the AFC Championship, no problem. But this is the toughest one.
No, I totally agree with that. You see it in the NBA too. I mean, the Thunder won the finals last year. The year before that, they won like 68 games or something in the regular season. It was awesome. They get to the playoffs and they fell flat early on. It's just the way things go in sports. You're not experienced at this level. But I'm with you. If they do win, I could see them easily winning the AFC Championship game because you just say, oh, never mind. They are an anomaly and they're proving it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Grant. So we are both on the Houston Texans to win on Sunday. Rams versus Bears to cap off the NFL weekend, 6:30 kickoff. The Bears, we've talked about it, one of the worst defenses in the world. They're a 3.5-point favorite, but they're like the best fourth quarter. Like when the odds hit plus 1,000, that's when the Bears start to wake up a little bit. So they are the
think
best.
they're fixing games, maybe?
I don't know. We got that point shaving scandal in the college basketball, dude. Dude's throwing 500 grand on like the most mid-major
basketball.
Yeah, Chinese and mid-majors and all that. And they think they're like slick with it, that the system wasn't going to catch it. But yeah, this is an interesting one. The Bears are 3.5-point home dog. 48.5 is the total. That spread to me just screams like trap, like Bears plus 3.5 at home trap. What does it say to you?
Well, yeah, it screams that to me as well, because that's just the way sports betting goes. You think, okay, playoffs, potentially tight, like clenched teeth, everyone's playing a little nip and tuck, everyone's a little scared, so you come out, you make some mistakes early on, it's a low scoring game, plus 3.5 at home in terrible weather too. 19 degrees at kickoff. Maybe you get some snow out there. It's screaming, take the Bears, seeing how they are winning games. Matthew Stafford has also been pretty bad in his career. I think he's like 1-9 in the snow or something. And in that, we think back to that Eagles game last year where he finished extremely strong, but he did not play well up until that point. It was actually the Rams running defense, which let them down. Saquon ran wild. You might not have to worry about that in this game because the Bears, they can run the ball, but they're not quite as explosive. But anyway, getting back on track here, the Rams defense is starting to worry me. We talked about it before their last game, and we said, okay, maybe they just lost some focus down the stretch. It's the Panthers, and I get it. The Panthers played a great game against them the first time around, but hopefully they get it back in check. Well, they almost lost. It took a Matthew Stafford game-winning drive, and that's one of the best game-winning drives I've ever seen. It looked effortless. The play calling was perfect. Stafford's delivery was perfect. The receivers were perfect. There was nothing. It was almost too good because they left 40 seconds on the clock. And if the Panthers had a chance, they could have put something together. But anyway, the Panthers did score 28 points. Bryce Young did have 264 yards. They were able to do things there. And the Bears offense is a lot better than the Panthers, even though the Panthers have this thing with beating big teams. So the Rams defense has got to get better, but at the same time, this is where I just go off the rails with the Bears. I can respect what they are doing. I can say Ben Johnson is a good coach. I can say Caleb Williams has shown improvement. I can also say they are doing things that should not be possible. They are living on such extreme outliers. They have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and they take the ball away at the highest rate in the NFL. There's so much volatility in there that if you don't get a turnover, and you should not go into a game thinking I'm going to force a turnover. That should be your goal. You want to do it, but you shouldn't think I'm going to do it. The Bears average like 1.9 takeaways per game. So to enter every game with the assumption I'm taking the ball away twice, you just should not be able to do that. And you're going against Stafford and McVay, and beyond that, Puka and Devontae Adams, like all these guys who have been in these moments and are used to playing just outstanding football. So you have that going. You have the fact that the Bears don't even really try to play until the fourth quarter. And then you have the fact that Caleb Williams, while he makes these remarkable throws, he completes the lowest percentage of passes of any quarterback in the NFL. Literally anybody who qualified. So Tua or Justin Fields, any qualified quarterback, they completed more passes than Caleb Williams. So with those three things being so majorly important to how games should be played, the fact they're living on that outlier, I cannot get behind them. I'll take the Rams.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams as well here. But fourth quarter EPA is a fun one, Grant. They are 28th, the Bears, on defense in EPA per play, but they are fourth in interception percentage in the fourth quarter. So yeah, relying on turnovers. Caleb becomes kind of Superman in those spots. The Rams, just more complete team. And there's a reason the Rams were the favorite to go to the Super Bowl for the most of the season, win the conference championship. They're a better football team. Offensively, they have all the experience in the world. They can match anything Chicago can do on offense. And then defensively, I am concerned about the Rams, but I also think there's this issue with the Rams where they kind of play down to bad teams. I don't think we're going to get that in the spot on the road against the Bears. So it's going to take a massive effort from Chicago. And this also goes back to what we were talking about with the Patriots. You're playing with fire every week if you're the Bears. Like, they should have been eliminated a long time ago. There's a world if you run their season in like 100-game sim, run every game 100 times, they're not even in the playoffs. They're a below 500 team just how they've won. But I think if you are the Chicago Bears in this spot, you need to obviously play great defense. You can't be doing what you're doing because Matthew Stafford's not going to give you those opportunities. And I think the Rams defense is going to be a little better this week, knowing what's at stake here rather than being a 10-point favorite against the Panthers. Hey, watching the film, we gave this one away last time. We'll be fine. Like, there is that sense of just overlooking the Panthers, where we're not going to get that this week with the Bears.
Did you see the stat that this is the 14th or 15th opponent Sean McVay has faced in the playoffs, and he's never played the same team twice?
No, that's crazy.
That's basically, I mean, he's played basically every team in the NFC, and then he's come up against the Patriots in the Super Bowl and the Bengals in the Super Bowl. But he's never played the same team twice.
He'll be ready to go. Sean McVay, and also the coaching edge. Like, Ben Johnson is obviously a great coach.
He tried to lose the game for them last week.
Sean McVay been there, done that. Again, there's dumb decision. Like, these offensive minds are ultra aggressive. That's what we get, I think, and maybe Sean McVay is or isn't too. I don't know, but Ben Johnson is ultra aggressive.
He might be more aggressive than Dan Campbell. He was going for it from like him and Kalen DeBoer. They were going for it from their 35 or their 40.
Kalen DeBoer's decision to go for it in the Rose Bowl was the dumbest coaching decision I've ever seen in my life. 3-0 game. You're in a position where you're still in, like, nobody at that time was being like, Indiana's just going to be that much better than Alabama. There wasn't one person saying that watching the game at that point. And then that happened. So Kalen DeBoer, that was one of the dumbest coaching moves of the season. But yeah, Ben Johnson, I feel like he's more successful doing it than Dan Campbell. Like, Dan Campbell this year, it was almost like what are you doing? That those people came out of the woodwork more because it just wasn't working as much. Ben Johnson, it's worked a lot this year. Might not work here.
Yeah, I've always been a pro analytics guy, and that gets a bad rep, but you are better off going for it in certain situations. But now I think a lot of coaches, I think the analytics people were winning, and people will love to make fun of, did the analytics tell you that? And then the Warriors win 4 titles. And then, did the analytics tell you that? And now you've got 30-year-old offensive coordinators like Grant Udinsky for the Jaguars, who had one of the best offenses in the NFL. Like, analytics work. So I think a lot of coaches saw that and said, I think we just need to go for it every time it's 4th down. And they've taken it too far now.
Yeah. You need to take points in the playoffs. That's my opinion. Like, points matter depending on the game. Like, if there's games where 3 is not going to win you the game here, don't take 3. But for the most part, points matter. Take the points more times than not, because the mistakes are just magnified in the playoffs so much more than they are in the regular season. So you don't be uber aggressive here. And I think that's where some of these coaches struggle. It's like, we can't coach the exact same way in the playoffs as we do in the regular season.
I mean, the Chargers, there was a great example of it against the Patriots. So their drives, let me pull them up because I remember seeing this in real time. So they are on the Patriots. They're on the Patriots 2-yard line. They go for it on 4th down. They do not get it. This is after the Drake Maye interception. So do the Patriots have their stand. And then the Chargers, next time touching the football, they get to the Patriots 3-yard line and they kick the field goal. Same exact situation, but Harbaugh. So if you have determined the analytics or whatever say this is the spot where you need to go for it, then you go for it. That was a clear situation of he was just kind of making it up on the fly. He didn't know what to do.
Exactly. And that's why I think we're going to get with Ben Johnson in this game. So give me the Rams to win, the Rams to cover. I think this is the coming out party for the Rams, and maybe the party where the Bears just fall apart here. I don't think they come back in this game if they fall behind in the 4th quarter. So I'll take the Rams up by win by 10. I think 10.
Yeah. I might not even go that high just because, again, it could be 19 degrees, maybe some snow. I'll keep it at like a touchdown. But if this was 40 degrees, I would be taking the Rams by 2 touchdowns.
Matthew Stafford is 1-8 in the snow and rain as a member of the Rams too. So we did not mention that, but it doesn't matter here.
I did. It's fine. I got it covered.
When'd you say that?
I actually said in the snow, so I got that part wrong. But bad weather.
Bad weather games. He's 1-8. Yeah, with like 18 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. I think it was. So
yeah,
I
they'll be
missed
fine.
that part. I mean, maybe I was looking at EPA stats.